Moonlit Fly Fishing's fly tying night tonight. I'm Brandon Moon. Tonight we're going to be tying up a really cool jig nymph. This is the Supernova PMD Jig Nymph pattern. Great pattern to tie and fish for PMD patterns that you're searching for in the waters. So make sure you get some of these in your box. So the hook we're going to be putting in today is the Moonlit Premium Toota ML501 in a size 14 or 16. We've got the 16 in today. The bead is the Moonlit Metallic Coffee. The 2.5 is what we're using for the size 16 today. The thread is SFly Classic Wax 12/0 wood duck, really cool color. And we're just going to start that behind the bead and wrap it and create a nice smooth underbody all the way back to the bend of the hook. For the tailing material, we'll go ahead and peel off a couple fibers, maybe 5 or 6 fibers of whiting, Coke de Leon, CDL, medium, ginger. We're going to tie that in. We want this tail to be roughly just about the length of the hook shank to 3/4. We'll tie that in. And we can always shorten that up if we need to, but we can't really get it to lengthen. So now that we've shortened it a little bit, we'll finish securing that down. And we're just going to secure it down with some wraps, and then we'll take our scissors and use the scissors to trim out just behind the bead of the hook so that we get a nice smooth underbody with wraps and everything like we were talking about at the start. The SFly Classic Wax is an awesome thread because it's going to lay flat. It won't build up a lot of bulk. We're going to take and build a body taper to this fly by using our thread wrapping forward and backwards. And you can see we left that tag end of thread on the back side, and we'll show you what we're going to do with that here in a little bit. If you follow us, you know that we like to use markers to create that body ribbed look on our flies. So we'll go forward and backwards maybe 3 or 4 times, stopping short each time we go back of our previous wrap so that we can create a nice smooth even taper to this fly here. I like the body to be tapered with my thread because I feel like it gives me the smoothest taper possible. And I get exact proportions that I want. So we're going to taper that all the way up there now. And once we're done, we're going to half hitch our thread. And this is so we can use the rotary feature on this. So once we finish half hitching that, we're going to set it off to the side on the bobbin rest. I'm going to take this alcohol marker. Okay, and I'm going to mark. I want to make sure I'm not capturing any of those tailing fibers. And I'm going to mark that thread just a little bit up that thread there on both sides so that it seeps in. Then I'll put the lid on, give it just a second to dry out. Now I'm just going to take open spiral wraps, creating a nice segmented look. Gives you kind of a quill-bodied look without the quill, which gives it more durability. It's faster, more durable, and a more cost-effective fly as well. We're going to secure that tag end of thread down now with a couple wraps over the top. Then I'm just going to pull that thread back a few wraps over the top of that. Now I'm going to take a razor blade, snip that out so that it's nice and clean. Now we're going to invert this jig nymph hook, and we're going to take some SFly 1/69 gold and black tinsel, and we're going to just tie that in. And I'm not going to pull it super tight so that I don't pull it all the way out, but I want this to lay nice on the top. And if I pull that through till it's underneath and caught, I'm in good shape. Now we'll take a hollow 1/32 gold tinsel from SFly. And we're going to repeat that process one more time. I'm going to tie that in, and I'll pull that until I can get that tip piece to just disappear underneath that thread. I'm going to pull both those back, And we're going to create our thorax area. And we're going to leave about a quarter of that hook shank for our thorax. I'm going to move the tinsel to the side. For the dubbing mix, I'm using Vicuna, UV Fiery Brown, and Sunburst Olive mixed together. Gives me a nice yellowish brown colored dubbing. Put a small little dubbing noodle on there. You can use Overton's dubbing wax if you need to create a nice tight dubbing rope. I'm just going to create that going up into the bead. I'm going to take and put my hook back up on top so I can tie in my legs, which is Moonlit's India Hen Saddle in a cinnamon dyed ginger. Okay, you can see I've taken and pulled the tips back and clipped it out. Then I pull the hackle back forward so I have that V shape. And I'm going to measure the legs down to the back end of that body. We'll secure it down. Now I'm going to use a razor blade to trim out the rest of that hackle there. And don't throw that away because you can use it on your next fly. Turn it back over so it's inverted where we're going to tie in our tinsel for our wing case here. We'll start with the holographic gold in the 1/32. Once we've got that, we're going to create a nice little split case with the gold and black modeled 1/69 tinsel. We'll pull that forward, secure it down. Now I'm going to pull both of those back with a couple wraps in front. That just kind of helps push that tinsel to the rear again. I'm going to take my razor blade and I'm going to pull that tinsel against my blade to cut it nice and clean. At this point, I'm just going to take and whip finish this pattern. So we'll give it a good couple whip finishes. And trim that out with our snip tool. You can see I've got a few hackle fibers there underneath that are in the way. I'm just going to trim that out, along with any long dubbing fibers that are kind of too long and in the way. Trim that out. Now we're going to take some Solarez thin hard UV resin and put it over our wing case there. Just give it a nice little sheen, a little bit of a bubble bump to it, which is going to help just give that lifelike look. Now we're just going to take our UV pin and we're going to take and cure that up with a few seconds. And I'm just going to take and look at it, make sure everything's good. And once we're done curing that, we're good to go. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening.